Have you ever sensed that there is something more to your existence than what meets the eye? A profound connection between your consciousness and the universe that science alone cannot explain? You feel it in those rare moments of perfect clarity when synchronicities align in your life, or during deep meditation when you glimpse something beyond ordinary perception. Yet modern society has taught us to dismiss these experiences as mere chemical reactions in our brains, leaving many of us feeling spiritually disconnected and searching for meaning in a seemingly materialistic universe. This disconnect creates a void, a spiritual hunger that no amount of intellectual understanding or material success can satisfy. You've likely sought answers in religious texts, scientific explanations, or philosophical discussions, only to find fragmented perspectives that never quite capture the totality of what you intuitively sense. Today, we explore the remarkable intersection where ancient wisdom and quantum physics converge to reveal the scientific basis of faith and spiritual experience, centered on one of the most mysterious organs in your body, the pineal gland, what ancients called the seat of the soul. Throughout history, spiritual traditions have recognized the pineal gland as a gateway to higher consciousness. This small pine cone-shaped organ, nestled deep within our brains, was revered in ancient cultures across the world. In esoteric Christianity and Gnostic traditions, the pineal gland represents the third eye, the mystical eye of wisdom that allows us to perceive spiritual realities beyond the material world. The symbolism of the pine cone appears prominently in sacred art and architecture, from the staff of Osiris in ancient Egypt to the pine cone courtyard at the Vatican. Early Gnostics understood what modern science is only beginning to comprehend, that this tiny gland serves as a bridge between physical reality and the quantum field of consciousness. The wisdom traditions taught that our spiritual awakening depends on the activation of this inner eye, allowing us to see beyond the veil of material illusion. Jesus himself referred to this concept when he said, "The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light." This single eye, the third eye of spiritual perception, was understood to be the pineal gland. Similarly, in the Gospel of Thomas, found among the Nag Hammadi texts, Jesus teaches, "When you make the two one, and when you make the inside like the outside and the outside like the inside, then will you enter the kingdom." This unity of perception, transcending duality, is precisely what activation of the pineal gland facilitates. But what does this mean for you today, in your personal spiritual journey? Before we delve deeper into this fascinating connection between your pineal gland and the quantum nature of your soul, I want to pause and ask you, have you experienced moments of transcendence or spiritual awakening that left you questioning the nature of reality? Perhaps during meditation, prayer, or even spontaneously in daily life. Your experiences matter, and they contribute to our collective understanding of consciousness. Take a moment to share in the comments below how you've personally experienced the connection between your consciousness and something greater. You might write, "I've experienced unexplainable synchronicities that made me feel guided by something beyond myself." Or, "During meditation, I've felt a presence or light centered in my head." Sharing your story not only helps others feel less alone in their spiritual seeking, but creates a supportive community where we can explore these profound truths together. Remember, what science is now discovering mystics have known for millennia, and your experiences are valuable pieces of this cosmic puzzle. Now, let's explore the historical foundations of pineal gland spirituality in greater depth. The Gnostic Gospels, particularly the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, contain profound insights into the nature of consciousness that align remarkably with our understanding of the pineal gland. In one passage, Mary speaks of ascending through 7 forms of powers or realms, which many scholars interpret as chakras or energy centers, with the pineal gland representing the highest center of spiritual perception. The text describes how the soul must transcend the limitations of materiality to achieve gnosis, direct knowledge of spiritual reality. Similarly, in the Apocryphon of John, another significant Gnostic text from the Nag Hammadi library, we find descriptions of the divine light entering through the spiritual eye to illuminate the entire being. This ancient wisdom parallels modern scientific discoveries about the pineal gland's sensitivity to light and its role in regulating our biorhythms and states of consciousness. The Gnostics understood that this gland responds not only to physical light, but to spiritual illumination, serving as a receiver for higher frequencies of consciousness. Perhaps most fascinating is the Gnostic concept of the spark of the divine within each human being. This spark, or pneuma, was understood to be a fragment of divine consciousness embedded within our physical forms, connecting us to the greater spiritual reality. Modern quantum physics offers a scientific framework for understanding this concept through the quantum field theory, suggesting that consciousness itself may be fundamental to the universe rather than merely an emergent property of brain function. This brings us to the remarkable science of the pineal gland and its relationship to quantum reality. Your pineal gland, though tiny, weighing only about 0.2 grams, contains water molecules that form a crystalline structure capable of piezoelectric effects, similar to quartz crystals used in electronic devices. This means it can transform mechanical pressure into electrical energy and vice versa. The pineal gland also produces dimethyltryptamine, DMT, often called the spirit molecule, a powerful psychedelic compound that appears naturally during profound spiritual experiences, deep meditation, near-death experiences, and the dying process. Modern neuroscience has discovered that the pineal gland contains photoreceptor cells similar to those in our retinas, suggesting it functions as a kind of internal eye. Even more intriguing, these cells connect to the visual cortex, creating a direct pathway for processing information beyond our physical senses. The pineal gland also produces melatonin, regulating our sleep-wake cycles and influencing our perception of time and reality. What does this mean in the context of quantum physics? Quantum field theory suggests that at the most fundamental level, reality consists not of separate particles, but of interconnected fields of energy and information. The observer effect in quantum physics demonstrates that consciousness itself influences the behavior of subatomic particles. Your thoughts, intentions, and state of awareness literally affect the physical world around you at the quantum level. The pineal gland, with its unique crystalline structure and electromagnetic properties, may function as a quantum antenna, capable of receiving and transmitting information from what physicists call the zero-point field, the underlying quantum field of potentiality from which all matter emerges. This would explain why mystics throughout history have experienced this gland as a gateway to higher dimensions of consciousness, Consider that every cell in your body emits biophotons, tiny packets of light that carry information. The pineal gland, with its connection to light sensitivity and its central location in the brain, appears uniquely positioned to receive, process, and distribute this biophotonic information throughout your nervous system. This creates a scientific basis for understanding the light body, described in many spiritual traditions. The nature of reality, as quantum physics reveals, is far more mysterious and interconnected than classical Newtonian physics suggested. Matter itself is mostly empty space, vibrating with energy and information. Your body, which appears solid, is actually more like a standing wave of energy in constant flux, with atoms that never actually touch in the conventional sense. The boundaries between you and the universe, between matter and energy, between the observer and the observed, are far more permeable than our ordinary perception suggests. This brings us to the concept of the quantum field of the soul. If consciousness is fundamental rather than emergent, it suggests that your consciousness, your soul, exists as a field of information that extends beyond your physical brain. The pineal gland serves as an interface between this field and your physical body, translating quantum information into neurochemical signals that your brain can process. This understanding bridges the gap between science and faith. Faith, in this context, isn't blind belief, but recognition of a deeper order of reality that transcends material explanation. It's an intuitive knowing that arises from direct perception through your activated pineal gland, your spiritual eye. The science of faith is not about proving or disproving God in a reductionist sense, but about understanding the mechanisms by which consciousness connects to the greater field of divine intelligence. How does this knowledge translate into practical applications for your spiritual growth? The activation of your pineal gland can be achieved through specific practices that ancient traditions have preserved and that modern science now validates. Here are practical steps you can implement in your daily life to enhance pineal function and spiritual perception. First, reduce calcification of the pineal gland. Modern environmental factors, including fluoride exposure and certain dietary patterns, can lead to calcification of this sensitive organ, diminishing its function. Incorporate foods rich in boron, such as avocados, dates, and nuts, which help to decalcify the pineal gland. Limit exposure to fluoride by using fluoride-free water and dental products. Tamarind fruit has also been shown to help detoxify fluoride from the body. Second, practice specific meditation techniques that focus on the third eye center. Sit comfortably with your spine straight and bring your awareness to the center of your forehead, slightly above the brow line. Visualize a deep indigo or violet light glowing at this center, expanding with each breath. As you inhale, imagine drawing light and energy into this center. As you exhale, allow this light to illuminate your entire brain and body. Practice this for just 10 minutes daily to begin stimulating pineal activity. Third, harmonize your sleep patterns with natural cycles of light and darkness. The pineal gland is highly responsive to light, producing melatonin in darkness and serotonin in light. By aligning your sleep schedule with the natural cycles of the sun, you optimize pineal function. Reduce exposure to blue light from screens in the evening hours, and if possible, spend time outdoors in natural sunlight during the day. Fourth, practice conscious breathing techniques. Breath is the bridge between the conscious and unconscious mind, and certain breathing patterns can alter brainwave states to facilitate pineal activation. One simple technique is 4 to 7 to 8 breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 7 counts, and exhale for 8 counts. This pattern shifts your nervous system from sympathetic, fight or flight, to parasympathetic, rest and digest mode, creating optimal conditions for pineal function. Fifth, cultivate awareness of synchronicities in your daily life. Synchronicities are meaningful coincidences that suggest an underlying connection between apparently unrelated events. They often increase as your pineal gland becomes more active, serving as signposts of your expanding consciousness. By paying attention to these patterns, you strengthen the neural pathways associated with intuitive perception. Sixth, explore sound healing with specific frequencies. Certain sound frequencies, particularly those in the 936 Hz range, have been associated with pineal activation. Listening to binaural beats or solfeggio frequencies can help entrain your brainwaves to states conducive to spiritual perception. Even simple humming or chanting, the sound Om, creates vibrations that can stimulate the pineal gland. Seventh, practice forgiveness and emotional clearing. Negative emotional states create stress hormones that inhibit optimal brain function, including pineal activity. By practicing forgiveness and releasing old emotional wounds, you create the neurochemical environment necessary for spiritual perception to flourish. As you incorporate these practices into your daily routine, you may begin to notice subtle changes in your perception and consciousness. Dreams may become more vivid and meaningful. Intuitive insights may occur more frequently. You might experience moments of profound clarity or connection to something greater than yourself. These experiences are not imaginary, but reflect the awakening of your spiritual senses through the activation of your pineal gland. Remember that this journey of awakening is both personal and universal. Each of us has unique pathways to spiritual perception, yet we all share the same fundamental brain structures and quantum connections to the field of consciousness. The pineal gland, that tiny pine cone-shaped organ in your brain, contains the potential to transform your experience of reality by serving as a bridge between worlds, between science and spirituality, between matter and consciousness. As we conclude, consider the profound implications of what we've explored today. You are not merely a physical being having occasional spiritual experiences. You are a spiritual being having a physical experience, equipped with biological structures specifically designed to perceive multidimensional reality. Your pineal gland is not just another part of your brain, but a sacred instrument of perception, evolved to connect you with the quantum field of the soul. The division between science and spirituality is an artificial one, created by limited understanding on both sides. As quantum physics continues to reveal the fundamental role of consciousness in creating reality, and as neuroscience uncovers the spiritual functions of the pineal gland, we are witnessing the convergence of these seemingly separate domains of knowledge. What mystics have known through direct experience for millennia, science is now confirming through observation and experimentation. You stand at the threshold of a new understanding, where faith is not opposed to reason, but complemented by it. The science of faith reveals that your deepest spiritual intuitions have a biological basis and a quantum reality. By awakening your pineal gland, you activate your birthright of spiritual perception, allowing you to experience directly what others only theorize about. Your journey doesn't end here. In many ways, it's just beginning. I invite you to join our growing community of spiritual seekers who are exploring the frontiers of consciousness through both ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science. Subscribe to this channel for more insights into the spiritual dimensions of human experience, and share this video with others who might be searching for a bridge between their scientific understanding and spiritual intuition. If you're seeking additional resources, visit our website for guided meditations specifically designed to activate the pineal gland and enhance spiritual perception. Remember, the light of consciousness shines through your spiritual eye, illuminating the path to your highest potential. The science of faith reveals that you are more connected, more aware, and more divine than you've been led to believe. Trust the wisdom of your awakening perception, and let your inner light guide you toward ever-expanding consciousness.